Hey everyone, welcome to Comic Yahud, your place for classic comic stories. Today's episode, Tintin and the Broken Ear, Chapter 4. Let's dive in. As dawn breaks, the ship arrives at Las Dopicos, the bustling capital of the Republic of San Theodoros in South America. The crew and passengers prepare to disembark, eager to explore the vibrant city that awaits them. Amidst the disembarking crowd, a sailor urgently informs two gentlemen about the mysterious disappearance of Tortilla, claiming he must have been pushed overboard after a violent struggle in his cabin. The alarming news spreads quickly, casting a shadow over the lively port atmosphere. Alonso pretends to visibly shocked, questions whether anyone knows who might be responsible for the sinister act. The sailor shakes his head, indicating the mystery remains unsolved. As the sailors demand compliance, the situation on deck turns tense, with a commanding voice urging everyone to raise their hands swiftly. The group is surrounded, leaving no room for escape as the gravity of the moment sinks in. Recognition dawns as one of the captives exclaims in frustration about Tintin's involvement, while orders are given to secure the area until police reinforcement arrives. The captives stand with their hands raised, tension etched across their faces. Nearby, a small yellow boat approaches the towering ship, its occupants peering up with anticipation. The vessel sails steadily, its flag fluttering as it nears its destination. Colonel Jimenez, dressed in a formal military uniform, confidently strides up the gangway of the ship, flanked by soldiers, their faces set with purpose. The men on the ship watch his approach with a mix of respect and curiosity, aware of the authority he represents. As Colonel Jimenez steps aboard, he introduces himself to Captain Mulder, who stands ready to receive him. The captain promptly informs the colonel that he has two prisoners to hand over, the weight of the situation evident in their formal exchange. Colonel Jimenez studies the two men, recognizing them instantly as notorious criminals wanted by the police. His stern expression deepens as he acknowledges their dangerous reputation, and the soldiers stand guard, ensuring the captives remain secured. A distinguished captain stands at the dock, saluting a small boat approaching across the vivid blue sea. The sun casts a warm glow over the bustling harbor, as the boat draws further. On board the boat, three men converse with an air of confidence as Alonso praises the plan to meet the vessel, while Colonel reassures him about the elusive fetish. Their determination is clear as they speed through the water, plotting their next move. Inside a room, Tintin examines the stolen fetish, listening intently to the captain's explanation of its origin. With keen observation, Tintin identifies it as a fake, noting the unbroken ear, which only deepens the puzzle they face. Tintin stands with the captain, who emphasizes their need to find the real fetish and understand the gangster's motives. Tintin nods thoughtfully, determined to unravel the complexities of the case. A sudden knock on the door interrupts their conversation, and the captain, with Tintin by his side, promptly invites the visitor in. Both turn their attention to the door, curious about this unexpected arrival. A sailor enters, handing over a letter addressed to Tintin, explaining it was delivered by a police launch. Tintin receives the envelope, sensing that its contents may hold crucial information to guide their next steps. Tintin carefully reads the letter, realizing the Minister of Justice is summoning him to assist with interrogating two suspects and requesting he bring the stolen fetish. This unexpected request propels them into a new phase of their adventure, filled with questions about the suspects' identities and motives. Turning to the captain, Tintin remarks on the situation's momentum, holding the wooden fetish closely, while Snowy watches intently. Determined to uncover more, Tintin prepares to leave, knowing the journey ahead could reveal significant developments. As they reach the ship's rail, the captain bids Tintin farewell, wishing him luck in the endeavor. Tintin, with Snowy at his side, expresses gratitude and steps forward confidently, ready to face the challenges waiting ashore. The captain reminds Tintin of the ship's departure at 8 o'clock, his voice firm and commanding. Tintin nods, acknowledging the urgency of his mission and the tight schedule he must adhere to. As Tintin speeds away in a motorboat, he reassures the captain that he has no intention of being left behind. The coastline fades into the distance, and Tintin's resolve is mirrored in the boat's swift movement through the water. Tintin holds a bright yellow suitcase firmly, Snowy by his side, as the boat cuts through the waves. Tintin climbs the stone steps from the boat, suitcase in hand, as he instructs the crew to pick him up promptly at 1900 hours. The crew confirms with a salute, their eyes reflecting the seriousness of the mission ahead. Standing by the water's edge, Tintin watches a steamboat puff black smoke across the azure sea, voicing his anticipation for the officer's arrival. Snowy sits loyally beside him, the suitcase resting on the ground as they await the next move. Walking through a lively marketplace under swaying palm trees, Tintin carries his suitcase while observing the vibrant surroundings. A man in a white suit strides confidently beside him, as Snowy trots along, taking in the bustling scene. Suddenly, Tintin realizes with alarm that his suitcase is being taken by a man in a white suit. He points and shouts after the man, while Snowy barks in agreement, both now on high alert. Relief washes over Tintin as he finds his suitcase safe, with Snowy standing beside it triumphantly. He lets out a deep breath, thankful that the situation has resolved without further trouble. Still clutching the suitcase tightly, Tintin reflects on the scare, wiping sweat from his brow. He stands amidst the bustling marketplace, pondering the troubling encounter. Two soldiers stand side by side, their expressions serious as they identify Tintin from across the bustling market. A sign in the background declares a state of emergency, hinting at unrest. Tintin is approached by the soldiers, their authoritative demeanor evident as they request his company. Tintin, holding his suitcase, faces them with cautious curiosity. As Tintin walks with the soldiers, he inquires about the military presence, his brow furrowed with concern. The soldiers reveal whispers of revolution, adding to the tense atmosphere of the streets. As Tintin and the soldiers approach the imposing green gate of the Cuartel de San Juan, the guards salute crisply, their eyes following them with a mix of curiosity and suspicion. Tintin clutches his suitcase tightly, feeling the weight of the soldiers' secrets in the air. Inside, a stern officer reads a letter describing a young man with a small white dog, his eyes narrowing as he processes the information. A knock interrupts his thoughts, and he barks in order for the visitor to enter, his mind racing with implications. Tintin is ushered into the room, and the officer scrutinizes him before demanding to see inside his suitcase, his voice laced with authority. Tintin stands firm, aware that the contents of his case could change everything. Tintin attempts to explain his presence, mentioning his summons by the Minister of Justice, but the captain interrupts him sharply, ordering him to open his suitcase immediately. The room is charged with tension as Tintin hesitates, knowing the stakes are high. Reluctantly, Tintin agrees to the captain's demand but warns him of a formal complaint regarding his conduct. His defiance is met with silence as he places the suitcase on the table, preparing to reveal its contents. As the suitcase is opened, the captain's eyes widen, and he accuses Tintin of terrorism, claiming his informant was right. Tintin stares in disbelief at the unexpected sight of bombs, realizing the gravity of the situation has escalated beyond control. The commanding officer, with a stern expression and a gun in hand, orders his men to take Tintin away to the cell block to await execution. The order is given with a grim determination, leaving no room for argument. Two guards roughly seize Tintin, who desperately tries to explain that his suitcase was switched, but his protests fall on deaf ears. The guards dismiss his pleas and drag him away, ignoring his cries of innocence. Tintin finds himself alone in a dimly lit cell, reflecting on his predicament with a touch of irony. The walls are covered in graffiti, and he muses on his recurrent misfortune as he contemplates his next move. Tintin reassures himself, thinking that the crew from the Ville de Lion will notice his absence and alert the captain to rescue him. His voice echoes with a mix of hope and determination as he leans against the cold, graffiti-marked wall. Outside the cell, a group of guards casually discuss Snowy, recognizing him as Tintin's loyal companion. One guard remarks cynically that Snowy will have a long wait, casting doubt on Tintin's earlier optimism. Meanwhile, the captain stands resolutely by the dock at 1900 hours, surveying the water with a stern expression. The crew waits expectantly, unaware of the unfolding events involving Tintin. A man wrapped in a vibrant poncho approaches a naval officer, asking if he's waiting for someone to take out the Ville de Lion. The officer, surprised, inquires how the man knows this information. The man explains that he was instructed to tell the officer not to wait for the young man and hands over a letter. The officer's curiosity deepens as he takes the envelope. Reading the address, to the captain of the Ville de Lion, the officer thanks the messenger. He clutches the letter, pondering its contents and what it might mean for his plans. A man in a colorful poncho walks confidently along the dock, satisfied that his task is complete. He watches a boat carrying officers speed away, his statement indicating a job well done. Tintin, peering through a barred window, notices the boat departing and realizes the captain will be alerted. His expression is one of concern, aware that time might be running out. On the boat, an officer hands a letter to the captain, addressing its importance. The captain, reading the letter, appears deep in thought, pondering its implications. The letter reveals a change in plans, as the captain learns that the theft of a fetish in Las Dopicos requires attention, forcing a delay. Apologizing for the inconvenience, the writer expresses regret for the disruption caused by this unexpected development. Tintin peers anxiously through a window, noting the late hour and the absence of the launch. His worry grows, wondering what could have delayed its return as the sea remains eerily calm. Suddenly, Tintin's attention is captured by the sound of the Ville de Lion ship's horn echoing through the air. His curiosity piqued, he recognizes the ship and contemplates its significance in the unfolding events. Tintin watches in dismay as the ship, Ville de Lion, begins to sail without him, the weight of missed opportunity heavy on his shoulders. His words hang in the air, a mix of frustration and helplessness as he realizes he's been left behind. Sitting with a resigned posture, Tintin contemplates his dire situation, feeling trapped and unable to see a way out. The hopelessness of his predicament settles in, his thoughts echoing the desperation of being caught in an inescapable bind. The next morning, Tintin stands defiantly before a squad of soldiers, their rifles poised and ready. The commanding officer's shout pierces the morning air, setting the stage for a confrontation laden with tension and uncertainty. The soldiers steady their rifles, aiming directly at Tintin, whose expression remains unwavering as the commanding officer gives the perilous order. The tension mounts as the officer's voice echoes, commanding them to prepare for the shot. Suddenly, a figure in a red uniform bursts into the scene, frantically waving his hand and shouting for the soldiers to cease fire. His urgent cry halts the imminent danger, bringing a momentary pause to the dire situation. Relief washes over Tintin as he calls out to the newcomer, a hint of hope in his voice. He inquires with curiosity whether this intervention means his life has been spared. A soldier stands confidently, announcing the triumphant victory of the revolution and the flight of General Tapioca. He proclaims with pride that General Alcazar is now in command, bringing a wave of change. The crowd erupts in celebration, raising their rifles and chanting fervently for General Alcazar and freedom. Their jubilant cries echo through the air, marking the end of tyranny and the dawn of liberty. A soldier salutes Tintin, informing him that he is free, which brings a smile to Tintin's face. Tintin responds with relief, acknowledging his freedom with a grateful heart. A soldier rushes through the courtyard, eager to deliver urgent news to the colonel, his voice filled with excitement and urgency. The colonel, taken aback, grips Tintin's shirt, demanding to know what disturbance has erupted, while Tintin looks puzzled, trying to piece together the sudden chaos. Another officer, standing nearby, questions the colonel about the capture of General Tapioca, adding a layer of confusion to the unfolding events. In a tense discussion, the officer informs the colonel that General Alcazar's troops have surrendered, and Alcazar has fled, leaving General Tapioca in command. The colonel is taken aback, questioning the validity of this shocking update. The officer reassures the colonel that the news is certain, having searched for him to relay this crucial development. The colonel, contemplating the situation, considers the implications of this drastic change in leadership. Addressing his comrades with fervor, the colonel announces the defeat of Alcazar and urges everyone to swear allegiance to General Tapioca. His proclamation echoes with a mix of relief and determination as he rallies support for the new leader. In a jubilant crowd, soldiers raise their weapons and shout slogans, celebrating the rise of General Tapioca while denouncing Alcazar. Their enthusiasm is palpable as they chant for freedom and the end of tyranny. Amidst this fervor, Tintin finds himself in a dire situation as Colonel apologizes, informing him of his grim orders to execute him. Tintin's face expresses shock and disbelief at the unexpected turn of events. Tintin stands against a crumbling wall as soldiers aim their rifles, their commands echoing ominously. His heart races as he faces the firing squad, the weight of his predicament sinking in. As the command to fire rings out, Tintin stands defiantly, believing his fate is sealed, yet a flicker of disbelief crosses his face. Confusion sets in as he realizes the shots never came, his eyes darting around in bewilderment, questioning the sudden halt. Astonishment turns to relief as the soldiers, bewildered themselves, discover their rifles have been sabotaged, each echoing the same distress as their weapons fail. Colonel erupts with anger, convinced there are traitors among them, and orders the soldiers to quickly find more rifles. His furious command echoes through the air, pushing everyone into frantic motion. In an attempt to diffuse the tension, Colonel suggests an aperitif to Tintin, who is momentarily confused but agrees. The abrupt shift from chaos to civility leaves Tintin bemused yet compliant. General Alcazar, now seated with Tintin, toasts to the triviality of danger, suggesting that being shot at is merely a fleeting inconvenience. Tintin, still nervously sipping his drink, manages a shaky agreement, raising his glass with a hesitant smile. Tintin takes a large gulp of his drink, trying to keep up with Colonel, but the potency catches him off guard, making him splutter. The sharpness of the liquor is too much, causing him to cough violently, his eyes watering as he struggles to maintain composure. Catching his breath, Tintin remarks on the strength of the drink, questioning its intensity. Colonel, nonchalant, introduces it as their local aguardiente and insists another glass will do Tintin good, pouring him another generous measure. Half an hour later, with both feeling the effects of the drink, Colonel suggests joining his soldiers who have returned with more rifles. Tintin, now more relaxed and in good spirits, agrees readily, eager to accompany his host. Colonel with a jovial expression, embraces Tintin warmly, proposing a lifelong friendship sealed with a toast. Tintin, equally enthusiastic, echoes the sentiment, his laughter ringing through the air. Colonel visibly tipsy, struggles to maintain his composure as he attempts to rally his squad with a slurred command. His unsteady stance adds a touch of humor to the situation, showing the effects of their celebration. Thanks for watching Comic Yahud. Like, subscribe, and catch you in the next chapter.